Hi all. Today we are left with 15 days exactly with our CUET exams. You must have prepared a lot in the last days, 3-4 months, 1 year, or whatever space you must have taken time space for yourself. You must have prepared a lot. But like cricket or like other sports, the last 5-10 overs decide what score you are going to make. And the same happens with any competitive exams. The 15 days left and the utilization of this 15 days as you make it, that will decide 10-20% accelerated score of yours irrespective of the preparation you have done just because of certain strategies if you follow. So the objective of the session today is how to utilize your next 15 days in a way that you are getting the most of your steamed preparation resulted into a higher score. So for that, I welcome you all in the session, and moving ahead, I'll go with certain assumption which I have taken. Before going ahead, what assumption I have taken before taking this session or before going ahead in the session is you have prepared completely. Next is your test papers either being taken or have been taken, both the ways. Or else, test paper analysis and score improvement is an issue for you. Last but not the least, don't know how to go ahead. Your test scores are the real reflector of your talent. It may not happen in various cases due to either time management lacking, or else question selection lacking, or else exam pressure. Either of the ways, the timer which clocks around on the screen of your laptop or your PC, which makes you little bothered about. So anyway, the session is designed to make you aware about that. So moving ahead with the certain assumption I discussed earlier, we are going towards 15 days calendar, how to utilize. Since we have prepared, and in the last 15 days, I won't advise you how to prepare. I'll advise you whatever you have prepared, how to maximize with your score with the same preparation. In last 15 days, believe me, you should take test papers only. Test papers not as a tool of your skill tester, rather than it should be a skill builder. I emphasize it. It should be a skill builder. How it should be a skill builder now? You take a test in the morning hours. One test paper daily of English and GT. In the specific video, I won't talk about domain. Let me be very clear in the beginning itself. I will talk about GT, that is general test, includes reasoning, quant, general affairs. And again, I'll talk of English language as a language. So, one test paper of English language and the other of general test. That test should be taken with an intention to improvise your skills in entire day for the rest 15 days. Each day you are spending right from today is a test day for you. So what you have to do with the test day? Take a test paper in the morning hours. As you must be knowing, the English test is of 15 minutes. Now 15 minutes of English, where you are supposed to score 40 questions. Again, 60 minutes of general test. You are supposed to solve 50 questions there. Now total 110 minutes test is there from general test and English. Out of this 110 minutes, rest of the day, if you spare 3 hours, what is there? If you spare 3 hours daily in test analysis, you would be doing. So how you should be analyzing your test? Kindly refer. Type of questions. Whatever comes, there are two types of questions. One, which are solvable, and another, which are not solvable or unsolvable. So if the questions are solvable, they have two aspects. Number one, they are solvable but not within the time limit. That refers to, if 40 question has 50 minutes, one question might have 45 seconds or 1 minute, say 12 seconds. You may not be able to solve the question within that given time span. Despite the fact that you are able to solve that question, you may not be able to solve it in the exam because of time constraint, because by the virtue of being a time consuming question, it will take an extra time than what is required. So what next? Focus on those questions which are solvable within the time limit. Skip those questions you believe are time consuming. Again, I'll stress one more aspect. The time consumption may be due to the way you are solving the question, or else the nature of the question itself has that it will take your time. Suppose data interpretation question. It will have 5 questions, but it will take time. Similarly, if the questions are unsolvable, let's say out of 50 questions, you could not attempt more than 32. Whereas you are supposed to solve 40 questions. So what about the rest 8 questions? Of course, the question you have selected to solve, and by virtue of not knowing to solve it, you may have escaping 18 questions. So those 18 questions which you could not attempt in the exam may have the only reason that they are unsolvable. Unsolvable because of your lack of knowledge. That becomes the assignment of the day. For next 3 hours, what I'll suggest you that you move to those questions, subject, let's say it's reasoning. So unsolvable question chapters may have certain areas which needs to be focused. Number 1, 20 practice questions. हाँ, सही सुना आपने. 20 practice questions from the chapter should be solved that day, from which you could not attempt in the test paper. And those 20 question papers, those 20 questions should be attempted in a way that when the next day, the same question or the from which chapter you have left the question last day, and it appears next day from the same chapter in the next test paper, you are able to solve it. The outcome of your last day practice should be that you have improved at least in one chapter per day in next 15 days, that whenever question comes from the chapter, you are able to solve that. What I mean to say that? The test paper which you have taken in the morning is not again skill tester, it's a skill builder. Now, the question which you have got wrong despite solving it, that is another aspect. Why you got it wrong? The reason can be either it was a calculation mistake, or else it can be a conceptual lacking. Either of the two can be. So whichever way it appears, if it's a calculation mistake, you have to ensure next time when calculations are being done, it has a lesser possibility of getting wrong. That's what you have to ensure in the entire day. The next, if it went wrong because you are lacking certain principles clarified, I mean, the way they should be, let's talk about certain chapters of maths. Relative speed, whether you have to subtract the speeds, whether you have to add and for any reason if it went wrong, that is conceptual lacking. Conceptual lacking should be moderated. Of course, I must say, you cannot make it 0, but yes, you can improve, and the chances of improvement are always there. What next? By the time you are taking test paper, without evaluating your learning of the day, taking test paper does not make any difference in your score. Because most of the time, your psychology work that test papers are made to improve your score. No, neither those are meant to measure your performance. Those should be taken in fact, and psychologically they are designed in a way that you take it as a skill builder. How it should be a skill builder? Now evaluate every day before you get into bed or you hit your bed. Like typical baniya, your balance it. आज कितना पैसा कमाया? आज कितने पैसे आए? क्या ये वही था जो लास्ट डे हमने कमाया था? Is it the same what I earned last day? That refers to whether the skill I have built today, is it the same what I was doing last day, or it should be improved? So in next 15 days, your evaluation process should go like attempted, correct, wrong, and extra practice questions. That practice question which we have already discussed, it should be 15 practice questions. Now, before moving ahead and before coming to a conclusive note, I'll say utilization of rest 15 days will decide how to improve. At a conclusive note, number 1, start taking test papers right from tomorrow. 1 test paper every day. Again, 3 hours should be given for the analysis of that test. Analysis part includes solvable questions, unsolvable questions, and their reason, as we have already discussed. You should not forget, without evaluating your progress, you must be missing the areas where you can improve by tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and for the coming days. And on due date of your exam, your score may be the same. So don't forget to evaluate your progress. Evaluate in a way that 20 questions practice from each domain, that is reasoning, quantitative aptitude, or general awareness. We must try to help you in those areas in a separate video. But of course, I must suggest you to remain visiting the channel, like it, subscribe for the purpose that you don't miss any video you have 15 days left with, and of course, don't forget to ask your queries in the comment section. Thank you so much. Hope this video will add some value for you. Thank you.